Grand Rising. It ain't even morning time, man.
But that's all right.
It's morning somewhere, right? Grand Rising to all my people in Asia. I'm gonna say Grand Rising because forget it. It's a stick. I gotta stick with the stick. So whatever time you see me, just say Grand Rising. Good morning, to keep the theme alive. But no, for real, I got my three nearest and dearest friends, and we about to tap into some higher cosmic tantric energy. So in this space of young men having a voice, this is a platform for that. And I know that that's not typical, and I know that these kind of conversations will be easily dismissed and rightfully so challenged. So if at any point during this conversation you get triggered up to the point that you feel negative, you could either cut the video off or you could send a DM to my boy Sacred Serpent and he'll send you the link and you can come join us and have a conversation and get your grievances off. As I was cleaning out the car today, I had a lot of time to think, ladies and gentlemen. And when I say I had a lot of time to think, because my children are trifling, let me just say that to clear the air, in case you were wondering. It was an ordeal, and
oh my
God, I was thinking about how, grievances is how we're ever going to get some shit accomplished. And having a space where we can all just agree on shit is not going to allow us to have a functional, organic society. We have to deal with conflicts, meet conflicts head on, and address them so we can kind of have some resolution. I want these young men on this panel to speak their absolute truth with the questions that we are about to present. And in them presenting their absolute truth, you might not agree with the fuck they gonna say. You might not even understand their perspective because society said that their perspective is to be dismissed even before you hear it. So if you already that type of energy where you don't give men the benefit of the doubt, even when there is no doubt to even give a benefit for, if you look at men as based upon their net worth and things of that nature, well, these men are very accomplished and they got a lot of going for them. Me included. Because in 2021, these young men and men like us are not going to beat ourselves up for no apparent reason.
No. Done with that, man. So done with that.
We finished kicking our ass just because we woke up. No, you have a voice that deserves to be heard. And beyond all of the shit that I'm saying, I'm going to get right into that and let y'all voices be heard. And I'm going to allow y'all to introduce yourselves in the order that y'all want to introduce yourselves in because, however y'all feel, Prime Serpent, sometimes Serpent be wanting to be Prime and sometimes Prime be wanting to be Serpent. Like the conversation was very confusing in our pre-production meeting, so I don't know how these two is going to kick it today, but I'm really feeling like Serpent is going to be extra Serpent today, so, my hands is like straight, like I'm really nervous about the show, ladies and gentlemen. The show got me really on the page. Yeah, introduce yourself while I try to recuperate.
All right, I'll go first, man.
Thank you.
Prime Harmonic. I also go by Will. I would like to consider myself as a metaphysician, but a scientist first. So, I'm all about trying to make sure it's real. If you can't teach somebody spirituality, then what you teaching ain't spirituality. So, we just trying to connect with our own souls in a more clarified way so that, we can bring that to the people, So, yeah, that's about it.
Everybody's on edge. Poppy's coming up for cleanup, so we gotta come on, King.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Need you to get on base so we can sing you home, man. We all on base. We about to do a grand slam, so we need a single. Let them know what
Yeah,
it is, Jeff.
just Jeff, just the overall businessman. I like to say, you know, do a lot of things, all legal. Let me make sure that's clear. But yeah, just you know, I'm here just to be a voice to someone who is just a younger individual who's been doing this work and kind of can share and express just a unique opinion and just has some a lot of things to offer as well that I want to push and get out there for the benefit of everyone who hears this message. So yeah.
Oh,
Coming
I,
up.
I,
Hold on, 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 hold on.
Shout out to the ancestors,
Yeah,
the
hold on.
unseen, seen.
I got the free version, so an ad is playing right now. So we're gonna have an extended delay, and now we get it popping. Hold on. That's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. I told you it's the free version. Go ahead, man. Introduce yourself.
all right, all right. Sacred Serpent, by way of Chakra Mystic, Chakra Nova
I like
Mystic,
that.
and Hood Mystic. I like all
The
of that
chakra
too. I just
mystic.
made
Chakra
that up. The
Oh,
Chakra
oh,
Mystic. That's the new
He's
shit, right?
coming out with them.
So,
no book.
it said Sacred Serpent, aka Dark Serpent, 0823 at Social Serpent Media, Sacred Serpent Media, by way of Chakra Nova, Alchemic Academic, and HoodMystic.com, ColumbianExchange.com. I just want to say and give thanks. I would like to pay my respects and acknowledgement to all the ancestors, seen and unseen, known and unknown. And I would just like to thank you guys for the space. I am the resident occult psychologist, aka communication guy, aka Supreme Serpent. You already know what it is.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate you all, and let's have some fun.
Word.
Let's have some fun. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, no matter what happened, sometimes you could be in the middle of some shit, had a lot of things to do. You think it's just a fart, it's a shark. Don't beat yourself up the rest of 2021 because guess what? Shit happens, ladies and gentlemen. Give yourself a round of applause for making it through them shark
You know,
experiences and
you
making it
know,
home,
the
taking a
wonderful
shower,
thing, the wonderful
taking a
thing
bath,
is, you know
and
how,
living your life.
you know how, you know how a colonializer's movie will make you feel sad for a rapist, right? That nigga just made you feel sad for not knowing what the fuck you're doing right now. So he just made you feel good for doing that. Okay. So I just love the Jedi mind trick that he likes to employ, but I digress. Let's carry on.
Yeah.
So the overall crux of this, like, I'm trying to frame it in my mind because a lot of it is like hypersexuality for men and women. And I would just like y'all to share a story or two or three on your experience in personal hypersexuality or experiencing hypersexuality in your partner and how it makes you feel. Because in this line of attraction, needing a sexual partner and needing a life partner, which I feel like all of the men on this panel can kind of center themselves in saying and affirmatively saying that I don't want a sexual partner at all. I want a life partner, right? I'm sure all the men on here is confident in that. And whether or not you are choosing to continue, like, I want you to be free in your expression, free in the choices that you make, free in the ability to make mistakes and learn from your mistakes. But hypersexuality, do you know what it is? Do you know what it looks like? And because I want to get to the crux and I want to get to the understanding when with all of these questions that we're about to lay out, with it's just your personal experience, and then I wonder if it's gonna make somebody mad if you reference your personal experience and you ain't trying to hurt nobody. You just trying to just say um, how you feel because you generally never get a chance to say your experiences on a public forum. Generally, it would be perfectly fine if all you young men would shut the fuck up and continue to do whatever the fuck it is that you're supposed to do and not have no experience to reference when it comes to dealing with genders, because you obviously want to come closer to the opposite sex, but you see some clear boundaries, or maybe you don't. Maybe everything is perfect on your side. So I just want you all to just share your experiences in the realms of hypersexuality. And so we're gonna be auto-billing and flea flickering and fuck the pre-production meeting that we just been talking about for the past 3.5 hours. Let's do something completely different, guys. How about that?
Well, I got stories. I got stories, boy. Shit.
Yeah, you also got to answer the Mama Mystic tonight. Be careful.
See how I'm asking the question?
Oh no, that's
really
Mama Prime. That's Mama Prime. You got to answer the Mama Prime tonight. That might be more delicate.
So tread lightly. We being real sensitive and real caring and nurturing. We're gonna really tap into our feminine side, right? Today.
Kind.
Yeah, let me first start out. I know one of the things we can. All right, you're right. Kind, gentle. Hey, yes, Sensei.
Delicate, very delicate.
All right. I'll say it this way. If you have genitalia that have nerves functioning within them, then
get biological then, Prime. To do something that we wasn't even ready for, Prime. Just set the table so we can eat good. Go ahead.
If you got genitalia and you got a nervous system that's functioning, at some point in your life, you're going to want sex, especially if you pass puberty. Now, I won't go into the before puberty stuff, okay, because that ain't right. And this ain't that kind of platform. So please, let's not go there. So let's speak in post-puberty here.
Let's speak to adults, for adults, and if it's any children, please say, go watch Looney Tunes or, Space Jam 2 bootleg that you got from a dude at the gas station. Okay, we rated R today, ladies and gentlemen.
Go get your SpongeBob on somewhere else, player. Go get your SpongeBob on somewhere else.
It's beyond hunching. So at some point,
I need to light a cigarette, nigga.
Go for it.
Oh Lord.
At some point, you're going to want it. Now, whether you want it from yourself, whether you want it from somebody else, that's neither here nor there. But at some point, you're going to have certain sexual desires that you want to fulfill. Period. I think we can all agree on that, right? Now, add to that, let's say the image, in honor of Sacred Serpent, we'll call it the image of sexuality. Because typically in this society, it's played like one of two ways. One, you're either a virgin or inexperienced, or two, you got a lot of experience, or you hypersexual. Right? There's hardly ever a kind of in between. And every relationship that I've been in, I've always been told that I was lying, even though I wasn't. When women would say, well, how many women have you slept with? And for me, I was very picky growing up about who I slept with. And I'm not going to say no numbers online, but let's just say it ain't a lot for my length of years that I've been here. But I've always been very picky because I know when you have sex with somebody, your energies mix on so many different levels, it ain't even funny. And I realized that younger in life, but not everybody realizes that. So some people, because they haven't been educated, will go one way or the other. They'll either close up and just like wait for any opportunity. Like, okay, okay, yeah, thanks. You know, and you got some people that's like trying to get it wherever they can get it, however they can get it, however they can hit it, whenever they can hit it, right? And I don't really see room in society for the in between.
Shout out for both people in the scenario.
So I had the pleasure of being with people that were less than hypersexual and people that were hypersexual. And the thing that messed me up was at times when I wanted commitment, especially if it was to the person, to the woman that was hypersexual, she'd be like, I can't do that, right? And it's like, that's just something you got to deal with. And then you get people that, you know, if you're dealing with somebody that's not hypersexual, are they fulfilling your desires? Do you go back and change your desire to be with them, or do you help them up their game? I mean, you know what I'm saying? There's all these things
what about communication on like as the whole cake where sexual might be a frosting?
Right.
You know what I mean?
So a lot of people, number one, don't even talk about it.
This is what I'm saying.
It. Right. So I'm like, you know, nah, you know, you can't be in a relationship and not talk about it. It's like sharing a bank account. Where's the money going?
Mm-hmm.
If y'all ain't talking about it, it's going to be some trouble. But yet people treat sex like this, I don't know, like this mysterious beast in the closet that you don't have to see until y'all both in the bed naked. Nah, hell no. I'll be like, well, who you been with? How many people you been with?
Wow,
you like it raw all the time? Oh, you do?
Wow,
well,
Brian.
I'm just saying.
Damn. Think about that shit. Think about that shit though. Like the sexual times think about all the times you had sex and then you kind of just fell into it where there was no real communication about erogenous zones and turn-ons and turn-offs. It was just kind of like, you know, proximity and vibrations. But imagine having those particular conversations in relation to, would you say that creates hypersexuality, the lack of communication?
Yeah, because you get this tension, right? You get this tension that builds up, and then you feel like you gotta express it. You're making a shadow, right? When you're not expressing yourself, I don't care if it's with your eyes, with your mouth, whatever, right? If you ain't saying something about it, doing something about it, then you're making a shadow. And when you make that shadow is gonna come out in some form or another. Whether it comes out in somebody's actions to make them go hypersexual, that's debatable, but I think it can. Mm-hmm. Because ultimately, if they're in the back of their mind thinking, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this, but in their physical living, they're not getting that, then they're gonna get it where they can get it.
Right. But okay, so Jeff, young man, younger than all of us, young guy, I'm curious to know, because I've been out the game for a long time. I've been in successive relationships for a while. What is it like between, in your opinion, you got friends, you got homeboys, you play football, and all of these experiences that you could ascertain with young men and young women, what's the vibes like for dating and sexual energy right now? Is it healthy? Are there healthy conversations in relation to sexual dynamics, or is it unbalanced or kind of crazy and chaotic from your perspective? Because once again, we far from being in the game. We in the alumni, you know, we only in the alumni. You actually playing the sport. So kick it to us like we don't know nothing about how the game is for you, the dating game.
All right. Can y'all hear me fine?
Perfect.
Good. I appreciate that. That makes me feel good.
It does, right? It's good vibes.
Just a little bit, but to be as blunt as I can. It's the woman I see out here, man. It is, you know, it's dry. It's just dry, and it's like I'm just I'm gonna just be straight up and honest. It's dry out here. Not for me. Let me be clear. Not for me. But it's just dry. I see a lot of dryness. I see a lot of desperation. And if attitudes don't change in the sense of just the dynamics of what y'all think relationships are supposed to be, it's yeah, I don't.
Okay, elaborate in that, because I always get that type of energy where
I
this
know.
is like this
Put into
perpetual
some words.
future that's bleak and abstract. There's like nothingness.
Corner store shit.
What do you imagine?
What would you tell us on the corner? Yeah, what would you tell us on the corner? What would you tell us on the corner?
All I'm saying is like women have a choice. Like, do you want a guy who's on a corner, or do you want a guy who has control of the corner? And it's
the women want the dudes who is on the block. Wait a second, hold on. y'all went from
I'm
the
sorry, I said the corner.
corner.
I'm sorry, I said the corner now. Now I regret saying the corner. You know what?
Okay.
That nigga
there's a reason why you're saying that.
He already on the corner. That's why. Never mind. I'm sorry.
Okay. Because I went to public school and they didn't really teach us much. They just wheeled in videos on Fridays and we just watched RoboCop and things of that nature. So we wasn't really learning. But back to dudes on the corner. Okay. I've been hearing this a lot. That women choose wrong and then try to recuperate later. This is what you're referencing when you're saying, like, if the situation doesn't change. I just want to be clear with Jeff, or am I like left centered from what you're saying?
You right there. It's like, just you gotta you on point, man. Like, yeah,
okay.
right there.
That's what I've been hearing, and
right
generally, as a dater, it's more or less cruel and no, I ain't going to deal with you because you're not my type for whatever reason. But to be a controller of the block or to be focused on something, you probably won't generally focus on being a type. It might not be the most social, the most magnetic, and things of that nature. So what would you say, real quick? Is it a space where dudes need to improve? Or is it what would a dude have to do? Because you said you don't have that problem. Well, brother, man, why don't you have the problem and your boys had a problem? Elaborate on that for me real quick.
Chakra Nova.
What?
I'm gonna just say, man.
Wait a second, man.
Chakra Nova, guys. If they ain't
Hold up.
So you saying that Chakra Nova can get you some girls?
Hold up.
I did not tell him to say this
Before
shit.
he even go any further. Listen, I swear to God, I just threw my hat across the room. Hold up, nigga. Hold up, nigga. You going to tell me? Hold up. Stop. Don't move any further. You mean to tell me that Chakra Nova got something to do with your realization? Huh?
In your body count?
Does it have something to do? Yeah, does it have something to do with your actualization and your actual benefits? Like you actually benefited from this shit? Hold up, nigga. Like outside of the $23.
That's what I was saying.
Like, outside of the $23. We talking about outside. You know what, nigga? I feel like I've been underpaid. You know what?
Listen, I thought we was doing the homeboy thing. Come to find out, it was actually helping people. Nobody told us nothing.
You know what?
Prime.
Yeah.
You gonna have to elaborate on this, man.
If you thought this was some regular YouTube shit, kill yourself. This is not some regular YouTube shit. Okay, like
no,
this is
I asked him a question real normal. I thought he was going to be like,
listen,
started working out.
Listen.
He said Chakra Nova.
Listen. And we got some beautiful questions in the chat too. That nigga said Chakra Nova. I'm sorry. Go ahead, talk. I'm sorry. Go ahead,
bro.
I'm sorry.
Elaborate on that, because the question was, how do you pull the baddies in your bros looking satty?
I mean, it's simple, fam. It's no cutting corners with the games. It's like, are you doing the work? Are you not doing the work? Are you him? Are you not him? Are you claiming like what you want to be? Are you just not? Is that simple? There is no games with it. I mean, people come up to me all the time and they want something, and I tell them what it is, and it's like they want to they want to I don't know what they want. They want me to come down, and it's like, I told you what it is. This is what it is. You get with the program so you can be with me, or you don't, fam. It's like, I'm good up here. I'm cool. I'm good.
So the next time we have a pre-production meeting, Jeff, when you say I'm about to be on some pimp stuff, I'm gonna bring some pimp music with us. So when you lay it on us, I could have played the pimp music right then and there.
Yeah, like this is what a pre-production meeting is for, Jeff. This is what a pre-production meeting is for, Jeff.
We get our art and our media.
Like, we did our due diligence 3 hours ago. Like, you were supposed to
trying to
prepare.
Like,
we didn't talk about none of this. We didn't talk about none of
this.
I want y'all to know this.
See, we didn't talk about blame doesn't apply. Okay, go ahead.
No,
we ain't talk about none of this. Nah, I just want people to know that, like, this. We ain't talking about none of this. But
of course, this is it's a joke. I'm just joking.
Yo, I'm making jokes right now, and I can't stop talking because I'm so embarrassed right now. I'm so embarrassed.
Oh no, but seriously, I want you to answer this question, Serpent, because ultimately, man, when you deal with sexual energy and a male talking about sexual energy, a woman is going to think about the decisions that she made in her sexual experience, and not think that your sexual life might be something completely different. It's an expression, like, it's your art, right? The sex, the love that you make, your understanding of it, it's your understanding of it is in your expression of it. Men don't get a chance to talk about it, and it's not to trigger you, but please understand that you got to really understand why you're being triggered by somebody's just talking. Yeah. Because you can't be something that you're not. But if a lot of times you feel like you cannot speak just your normal everyday 1-2 shit with the guys, and ultimately when you have these kind of conversations, different shit gonna come up. So I just want y'all to be a little bit patient with how you feel in relation to a person's perspective. So when you answer this question, Serpent, I want you to be honest in your spiritual psychological studies from old boy who wrote about Atlantis. I can't think about his name. Rudolf Steiner to Jung and all of these particular things. Animus. How many years of celibacy does it take to get rid of soul ties? And do you think that celibacy is the way to get rid of soul ties?
I appreciate the question. I really do. First, before I even answer that question, I have to reframe it, because the perception of the idea based on why the question was imposed is still not available.
Yeah.
So what I will say is that, why do you believe it is necessary to get rid of soul ties in the first place? Second, why is it that soul ties is something that you believe you can get rid of. Because if you're talking about soul ties and you're talking about getting rid of them, then that means that there is an underlying theme that is pointing to some karmic debt that you believe to be inherent upon your being, upon your soul. Nothing in the world can be further from the truth than what you are trying to understand right now. There is no such thing about inherent karma. There is inherent karmic debt, but that can be done away with simple reprogramming, simple deeper understanding, and simple acknowledgement of it actually being a thing that persists.
Yep.
So
So
basically, you're
you
saying that you don't need to get rid of your soul ties, and also you want to talk about the past and removing the past. Like there's a spiritual process, or not doing something is going to the longer time it takes to forget the
I'm not.
past, but the
Yeah,
past is
yeah.
always going to be there.
That is exactly what I'm referring to. I'm 41 years old. Okay, so regardless of how old or however old the person is that asked the question, that imposed the question, the way the teachings go, the way the understandings go, my life is basically the acknowledgement section of a book, which would be a novel. Okay, so that means that no matter how much I think I could have done wrong, no matter how much I think I could have fucked up, no matter how much I think could have gone in opposition to my personal, advancement, like it doesn't matter. It's only the acknowledgement section of the book, which therefore means it's only like the first 5 or 6 pages. So if my life is only the first 5 or 6 pages, I'm 41 years old. No matter what it is that you think you've been through, you think that is the existence of your being. That isn't a scintilla of anything that is what is you.
So let's bring
That is
context
just your
into it.
perception. That is based on.
Yeah.
Let's bring context
Mhm.
into it in the space of. So you're saying that it wouldn't matter in your life what you do, as opposed to so what, and then you have like a magnification of a situation that even though it's not pertinent in the grand scheme of things right now, is super serious. So within the understanding of both things being true, how do you particularly find balance in the space of, so say for instance your choosers is all fucked up, and back to Jeff, you dealing with the block boy, but the block boy doesn't have any real respect for feminine energy. He'll violate feminine energy if you give him a chance. You shouldn't never date a man like that, nor give him your GPS to your home, but you do it anyway for whatever reason. And then in the space of building a sexual relationship up with aka block boy, and it don't necessarily have to be a block boy. It could be block boy, could be well cut, college educated too. Generally, there's certain ethics and certain codes within mandom that could go worldwide towards achieving a goal, especially in a relationship, to where you don't violate nothing and nobody ever feels unsafe, and we don't never have to kick it in a sexual manner if I really like you. But if I treat you with the respect in the space of not wanting to view you sexually, you wouldn't necessarily choose me. So
Right.
in the relationship game, that's where I see it at. But I hear what you saying, Serpent, where it's a big grand scheme of things that you shouldn't necessarily trip on it. But at the end of the day, people caring about it right now. You know, like people can't get past the microcosmic, deeper aspect to this particular thing when you have expectations for Block Boy that Block Boy could never ever didn't even ever want to meet.
Mm, mm. I had one answer to that too. It's real quick and short, and I won't divert the attention from the show too much. But yeah, to finish my point, that I just wanted to say that about the acknowledgement point section of the book, like people think that their life is what it is, and that is the only thing that exists, and that's the only thing that's going to exist based on what they've already been through, and that then dispositions you from being able to go and advance yourself to anywhere else or expand yourself to anywhere else, because you're only thinking about the first part of your life or whatever you've been through.
Mhm.
It's only the feeling. It's only the feeling section. There's so many different aspects to it. You're focused in the feeling section. But when you talk about the block boy and the woman who wants the dude who owns the block, like the basic thing I would have to say to that is, does it matter how he got the block, or you just happy that he got the block?
Right.
You see, you can buy
And that's
into the
block
dude.
boy too. He the block boy too. He a worser black boy because he got the resources to really build you a prison. The block boy can't really encase you. You feel me? You can run away from the block boy.
What I'm talking about is, what if the nigga that you buying into as being the head of the block is the same nigga that's snitching to the police behind enemy lines, right?
Same thing.
So your life is not really safe. You just have an illusion of being safe because you with the head of the block boy. But that also means the feds got a fucking direct bullseye on his back, right? So they could kick this nigga door in at 3 a.m., right? While he in the pussy, right? Like no pun intended, but pun intended. What I'm saying is, you want the nigga who has the last part of the so-called race, right? The nigga who went through the gate and get all of the accolades. You just don't care about how that nigga got the accolades. And then you want to turn around and complain about how you got beat in the head and you fell for the dumb shit because you fell for the nigga who act like he had it all because he shows you the accolades. Like, you don't get to get both parts of that soup, okay? You picked the nigga because he had all of it. You didn't give a fuck about how he got it. You ain't give a fuck about who he had to destroy to get it. You ain't give a fuck about how long he been killing niggas to fucking keep it, right? But you want that nigga instead of getting the little nigga off the block and y'all building it up together and go get another fucking block. Like,
oh man, you get too advanced.
That ain't the only fucking block that exists. You niggas is too geographical. That's the problem. You niggas is too geographical, and you bitches is too fucking systematically, emotionally inept. Like you can't connect outside of putting your pussy out there on the line and then taking it back because something else is going on. Like, listen, man.
But it's not. But it's really not. It's not a point. It's not a point of like. But when you get into a point of being angry, your messaging it don't hit. But you got to understand that the things that you're saying matter, but the delivery is what's going to always the real.
I'm so sorry. I got emotional.
No, it ain't about being sorry. It's about fully understanding that when you delivering a meal, how you deliver it is the most important part. Because every point that you make is valid.
It's on point,
right. But it's no point of the Leo energy or the fire energy, especially on this topic where if the topic is masculine, you got to find a feminine way to execute it, which is artistic or creativity.
I need to step back. No, absolutely.
Because it hits you. We said this ahead of time. These are triggering topics. These are triggering topics, and that's what happens when people get triggered. And that's natural. That's natural. I want to tie it back into two comments.
I was in the pregame. I'm sorry.
It's all right, man. We all fall on our sword sometimes. There's two comments that I saw in the chat. One was from Black Diamond. And it said, because we normalize being grown at 18, right? And I'm gonna hit the other one. What was the other comment I saw? Doesn't the soul tie give them access to your energy? So tying that all together, right? Little shorty on the block who didn't turn into the block owner, right? when you get older, so I'll say it this way in terms of the age thing. Yeah, we sometimes have to learn to be grown by 18, because sometimes we taking care of little sister, little brother, and sometimes we taking care of mama and daddy, depending on what the situation is, right? You know, I knew cats that was 12 and 13 having to take care of their family because some of the stuff that was going on, right? So yeah, you know, and women, you know, so we all have to age sometimes quicker than we want to. But what doesn't age well is managing our expectations, right? That's something that comes with practice. That's something that comes with maturity. So, you know, when I remember in high school, when I would see these cats hustling and they were driving up in these cars. I ain't had no car, man. I had 4 pair of jeans that I wore through 4 years of high school. You know what I'm saying? And I see these cats rolling up in these cars, and all the girls, the fly girls, be like on them, right? Oh, so. And I would sit there, and for a while, I used to be jealous about it. And then I thought, man, you know what? If they ain't smart enough to understand that that guy living in such a way that, you know, his money might not last long, or he might not last long. And if you want to be wrapped up in that, and like Serpent said, end up being there when the cops bust through the door, then that's on you, right? And it started making me start to value. That's what made me start to look at what are women thinking, right? Because I was like, okay, you might look good, but something wrong with your head. So I shouldn't say wrong. You might look good, but your thoughts need to mature, right? And
maybe you're listening to the wrong folk.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, right? But that's what made me start focusing in on women that was about something. They were planning things. They were like helping people. They were, you know, doing things in the community. I'm talking high school onward, right? And you know, when they change their expectations, they change who they look for. I noticed that in college too, because the same thing was happening in college. And I was like, man, I thought these girls was grown. I figured they'd be, you know, I mean, I went to North Carolina A&T, and it's a premier school for blacks in engineering. I went there for grad school. And I heard so many women say that their family sent them there to find an engineering husband. Think about this. You're in a university studying engineering to find a husband that's an engineer. Right? You don't need a husband that's an engineer when you learn how to be an engineer. Right? So it comes back to the expectations. Mm-hmm. And I started learning, okay, expectation doesn't always change with age, but it does change with maturity. And then so you gotta
wait a second. Say that one more time, because that was
expectation doesn't always change with age, but it changes with maturity.
I love that.
Right? So the other comment was about the energy, right? Because that has something to do with it too.
Hold on. Can we? Because we'll get off of that.
Yeah.
I want to deal with a male solution in relation to looking at the girl choose the other guy and internalizing it in such a way.
That's exactly what I was about to talk about with the
pull energy. You off of it. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's exactly what's smart. So I don't know if I'm saying the name right, Unija. Mm-hmm. The topic was about sex, but it's about everything, right? Does the soul tie give them access to you, to your energy, right? Mm-hmm. If you looking at somebody and you thinking, I want to be like that person, right? You throwing your energy into that conditioning, and your spirit is going to bring that to you in some form or fashion. If you looking saying, I want to be that block boy that's, you know, slinging all that dope, and I want them girls walking up to my car. You know what I'm saying? If you looking at that and you aiming at that, then that's what's going to come to you.
Damn.
And that's management of your energy. So again, it comes back to investment, right? Damn. What are you seeing? What are you seeing? Damn. What is your image, respect to sacred serpent. I've been saying imagery ever since that last broadcast so many times. What is your imagery of success? Right? Mm-hmm. What is your imagery of success? And then if you're looking for a mate, what is...
That's very powerful. That's very powerful, because I gotta set the scene for that. Because say for instance, you dating whoever you dating, right? Where do you see yourselves 50 years from now with everything being considered?
Do you want to see 50 years?
Exactly.
Do you want to see 5 minutes?
But then you reference soul ties in reference to like sexual activity, which is very short-sighted. It has mm-hmm. nothing to do with 50 years from now. Because your kid that y'all create could have another kid and y'all be grandparents, and your kid might be super successful or back and forth from jail. You just never know. To whereas you got to constantly deal with this man or woman for the next 50 years, right? For one, it could have been 2 minutes of passion.
Right.
So This is the reason why soul ties and looking and having a long-term view, back to what Serpent was saying, where how are you going to have it both ways? How are you going to want to worry about the relationship of certain actions and having a beautiful marriage, but in your short term, not even dealing with the dudes who even got that mindset?
Right.
Like, will shirk off those types of energies, because where I'm at, I see a clear disconnect between, like, it's men that want to get married and it's women that want to get married, and they're like going under and over each other. The point of this conversation, if we don't trigger ourselves too much, my purpose for this conversation is to bring it down to where the marriageable energy can meet, because that's what's going to satisfy y'all. Y'all buying all of this shit, y'all living all of the lives, y'all traveling, y'all having all of the sex, but is that a healthy way when that's not even satisfying you? But go ahead.
How is it weaponized? So this is the reason we talked all of this stuff, right? It still puts us back on topic. How is sex weaponized?
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's when you use it to get some. How is any weapon used? Number one, mm-hmm. right? If you pull a gun, you better shoot. If you pull a knife, you better stab or cut, right? Because if you don't, you're just showing it, and people ain't gonna take you seriously every time you show it. I knew a young lady who swore to me that she would rock my world. And I'm just saying, right? This was before she was deflowered, so to speak. I mean, I'm sure she still got the flower, but before her first time. And I said, well, she was about getting married. And I was like, I don't think you should do that. And I told her straight up, I was like, the first time you have sex, it's going to blow your mind. And you might think that because you thought so much about it, that when you give it up to this dude, that you got to be with this dude forever. But that might not be the case. You might just be trying to make up for all of the stuff that you thought it was, and the preciousness that you thought it was, and trying to be with somebody forever. So I told her, I said, I ain't getting married if we ain't doing it first. And she was like, well, I don't want to do it till we get married. And I said, well, you short. I ain't marrying you to do you. I could do somebody else. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So number one, how is it weaponized, right? Number one, it's weaponized because people think it has power. Mm-hmm. People think that sex has a level of power that is not really it. You know what I'm saying?
I don't give a damn about sex.
Okay, so this is what I was saying in the pregame. The men here can say that they would rather have a life partner over a sexual partner, but women would overall say that all men care about is sex. But my thing is, are you saying that because you refuse to meet men at a mental level, to have mental accountability, to say that we're going to meet every day and have deep tantric conversations in relation to our trauma and our shadow and the shit that we need to work on before we get to anything. Because let's imagine if we're going, let's say we love each other and we want to be with each other forever, but we never deal with the negativity. How long will that last before we start to look at the negativity and now we saying, I don't want to deal with this person again?
I'm gonna have sex, but I don't give a damn about sex. I'm just like that's putting that out there. That's a thing.
I don't know, man. That sounds like a little bit of denial.
You may be right.
Yeah, that's mixed signals.
you may be right. You may be right, and it may only make sense to me right now. But
okay,
it may only make sense to me right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
and maybe that is maybe what it is.
The goal that I would imagine to be in is to demand a sexual relationship without having sex. I demand communications in relations to all of the things that you want to do sexually, or get the fuck off my line. Because if we can't hope, like anything in relationships is based upon mental acuity. Yeah. Serpent says that it's not about communication, it's about comprehension. I'm trying to create an orgasmic situation so deep within you that you could assist me in my waking life. Yes. What are you here for?
Yes. And do you have to be married for that?
Thank you. It
depends on the people. It depends on the people, on the person, I would imagine. Because for me, I'm more centered in commitment. For the next person, they could, like, I don't want a woman to worry about a soul tie in reference to me when I want to be present for you. In my heart, I want to be there for you. I don't want you worrying about me. I don't want you wishing to be with me when you could say it and communicate it and we could move towards it. The problem is more of a want and more of a desire more than a communication. And what I see, people not getting nowhere because you can't communicate within your sexual needs. It's not even a you can't even say what you want sexually because you can't affirm it within yourself to say it because you're afraid of how she gonna respond to you. My thing is, if that's where you at, it's trouble to begin with.
So is the weapon real or perceived? Right? Anything like that is going to be looked at as a weapon. Go for it, bro.
Thank you, multiple paths.
Shout out to the divine feminine. No disrespect. I love you so fucking much. I think what needs to be understood is that if we can bring the woman, I'm not talking about a black woman, I'm not talking about a white woman, I'm just talking about a woman. Like, if we can bring the woman to a place where she doesn't believe her number one instinct is based on survival. That's number one.
We talked about this. Was this the pre-production?
Like, that is number one. Because if you look at the trickle-down effect from an individual feeling like they need to protect themselves and always be in survival mode, well, just look at so-called black people, right? So if we place that just on a
this
scale,
the one right here.
Answer my question.
It's the one right here.
The woman. If we place that on just the woman, from her inception, she believes she has to survive first. What is the first thing a woman says about anything good? She speaks about a man. When she speaks about a man, and that is her man, and that is a connection to her man. She says that man makes her feel safe. Right? I don't care what she puts in that bowl of things that she gives to her man, that she honors her man for. Safety is number one in that fucking bowl. Right? So from their inception, the woman believes she needs to survive first and then nurture.
Wow.
And then
I was trying to figure out where you was going.
And then be a mother and be
sacral chakra.
A second half to a man. Like all of these things come after and counterintuitively to her survival. So
Till-
if you make her feel like survival is number one, absolutely, sex is a fucking weapon, nigga. Sex is the same thing that leads to your death. It's the gateway. It goes both ways, up, down, right, left. Like sex, bro.
Shout out,
Sex,
Sacred Serpent.
bro.
You answered the question, man. Because for a while, for a long time, it's been puzzling me.
We talked about this yesterday in the pre-game, right?
Like pre-game.
How is it that a woman can give her yoni so freely, right? And the man holds it up as a fucking badge of honor, right? She can give that thing away evenly and feel justified in doing so based on her emotional disposition and what she has to fucking toll on, right?
Mm-hmm.
She can give that thing up and not have to justify it to you, nigga.
Right.
You are the one that can't get over her spreading her motherfucking legs, nigga. That's you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? So when we get to that point, not to cut you off, homie, let me finish this real quick. When we get to that point, right, and you can't understand how she can justify cheating on you, but you could justify cheating on her. Right? You can come up with all the fucking reasons in the world why you could justify cheating on her. But the minute she cheat on you, it's the end of the world, nigga. I got to everything over. So you say, when you ask me, is sex a weapon, nigga? Like, let's be for real. There's nothing in the world that gets a man to move before pussy. There is nothing. Not his money, not his job, not his mother, not his father, not his family, not his son, not his fucking pussy. You take his pussy.
Dudes be really on that ta-ta-ta-licious type shit. Like, dudes be really interested in pussy. Like, I think, like, people don't really honor and acknowledge.
If I wake up and my day doesn't include me thinking about it, something's wrong. Something's wrong.
Like, we act like dudes don't be thinking about pussy.
That is nothingness. That is chaos. That is creation. That is everything. That is the zero on the 0 to 9 scale. That is the beginning, right? So there's no wonder that you are in love with the woman's orgasm. There's no wonder if you're a heterosexual male that you are in love with the fucking female orgasm, nigga. There is nothing better on the planet, nigga.
Right.
There's nothing better on the planet.
100.
You'll do anything for that, nigga. If you could get enough women to come, you wouldn't give a fuck about nothing else that existed, nigga. I got this woman to come on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I don't give a fuck what y'all doing. I don't care. Don't call me. I got a bitch coming right now. I don't care.
So when we get a lot of
that's like hold on. That's like one of the my nigga. If you think that sex ain't a weapon.
No, because what we get a lot of is a situation in relation to, all right, I can get sex, but I can't get a man to be in a relationship with me seriously. So a man, this is the thing, right? I get that energy that men give, and I'll be the first to say I'm not a proponent of, squeeze first, ask questions last. I want to get to know you and talk to you. I really in that type of energy. However, why do in a society we having this conversation, but in most women's experience, they will say, well, all men want to do is have sex.
Me.
Go ahead. That's my question. That's my question.
Dude, you got it, Jeff? You want go ahead, man.
Just to build off of what Serpent was saying, like, and to build off of what I meant by what I was saying, as far as, I don't care about sex, but I'm gonna have sex in the sense that it isn't what y'all like a lot of people really think it is, but at the same time, it is sacred. Like it's not something that I'm like a man's kind of sexual behavior and drive. It deserves to be respected in the same way that a woman's sexual behavior does, and that's what I mean by that. It's like I'm not just supposed to hear what you got to say it's supposed to be reciprocation. We're supposed to be equivalent in this, and mine is just as important as yours. I don't care about you, about yours, as like just in this. I do care about yours. Like, let me get that straight. But it needs to be equal. We need some balance here, and that's what I meant by that. That's all. I'll let that go.
So you do care.
But you more tapped into your magnetism is much more what you're saying. So what confuses men is they feminine energy, where you attract things in your life and things come to you, even though you're not asking for it. And the things that come to you, you like it. You're not saying, "Ooh, get this vagina away from me. I don't like that." You know what I'm saying? You're like, "Oh, I want this. It's good." But I'm tapped into my feminine principle that you're not going to use it against me.
Exactly. Yes. And I see, like, it is always the first. It just is what it is. The game. It's life. It's like the first step is everybody is the opportunist. Everybody's gonna look for how can I get in? Like what can I do? And it is your responsibility. And when I say your responsibility, I mean yours as in whoever is watching, who's looking at me and hearing this. It's like it's your responsibility to set those standards. Like, all right, this person is perhaps maybe looking for opportunity, but at the same time, I need opportunities as well. As we all need that. So how do we balance this situation, and how do I be able to accept what they're looking for, but put my foot down and say, all right, we're only going to take it to this level, and if you need more, then we're going to need to make some deals and terms here. We're going to have to talk about we might need we're going to need some things, but go ahead, I'll let it go.
Deals and terms, though, right? Now, the original question was about women and sex versus commitment, or what do they want out of a relationship?
The average dude will only want a girl for sex, right?
Right.
And the majority of men don't want to have sex, but women don't want to deal with the dude that don't want to have sex. They take offense to you from looking at them experience, like that. Ladies. Yeah. I'm not speaking from no jaded perspective. When I'm trying to build with y'all, that's uninteresting and boring. Y'all want to go for sexual driven conversations because you want to feel desirable, to which I don't necessarily know how we come to a solution. That's why I'm asking the question.
And that's been my biggest pet peeve from the age of 13 to now.
That's a fact.
Dude.
The majority, I'm speaking the majority of men, right? The majority not getting the action. The minority is getting the majority of feminine attention. And so, like I said, there's one going this way and another one going that way. How can we bring it to center?
Men and women, expectation, right? We talk about relationships. How do you form a healthy relationship? You have to understand the extent of the relationship that you're asking for. Are you asking for sex? Are you asking for mental conversation? Are you asking for emotional support? Are you asking for spiritual balance? Are you asking to just vibe with somebody and have a walk in the park? Are you asking for a workout partner, right? One of the major things that people get messed up, in my opinion, men and women, and I might trigger somebody on the next thing I'm gonna say, but one of the reasons a lot of people get that messed up, right, is because they're not even thinking about what they want. They haven't sat down to calculate, to draw out, to write out, to think about, to meditate on, to pray on, whatever, about what they want out of life, let alone out of their relationships with people that are in their lives. Now,
that's exactly what Serpent was saying when he was saying the type of dudes that you like based upon if a dude is looking at the girl who getting all of the dope, or you said that the dope boy who getting all the girls, you're going to try to emulate your situation to that dude because he's getting all of the girls.
Because she don't know what she wants.
Right.
Because she ain't really sit down and determine that. And, my God. The guy, right? Crazy. Like we said, right? Guys, we know we have an issue. We know it's the best thing in the world. And I'm watching my words because my daughter's back upstairs. It's the best thing in the world. And we're going to do whatever we can to see it, to feel it, to get it to happen, to be around it, right? We love it. I love it. Okay. Now, if we never grow up from that to say what more do we want out of the relationship, then we're part of the problem. Period. And
Definitely.
if the women never grow up enough to say, boy, you silly, you know you can get so much more than that. If they're not willing to work with us and help us to teach us to grow us, right, then they part of the problem too. Because normally women mature faster than men and they can see past the silliness. But the weird thing I've seen is this gap. And this gap happens between like 18 and 26. I call it 24, 26, right? Where all of a sudden, now that they finish playing around with us, they want to get serious about their life. And one of the things about them getting serious about their life is they want a man around. Now, that's kind of conflicting because they've been playing for a long time. And then if all of a sudden now they want a man around, then you got to understand, okay, well, if you ain't been thinking about it all this time, if you ain't been cultivating the desire that you want out of a relationship, if you haven't been really considering what you want, you're going to go through a lot of trial and error. And I've seen a lot of beautiful women go through a lot of bad trial and error because they didn't spend the dang on time to know themselves and to know what they want. Same for the dudes, but to me, it's just more heartbreaking for me to see it from the sisters. I don't know.
No,
Biased,
you dropping some real jewels, and I think when you ask them questions, that's going to be real defeatist. And I think, like, as I imagine your point, imagine this and tell me what you think about this and get everybody involved. But like, say for instance, you say you got to map out your relationship and you completely unrealistic, right, in your expectations. And just because you write it out don't make the expectations that much more unrealistic. And I know we generally want to have a hopeful disposition towards meeting somebody that's 6'8" with an 8-pack, that's 315 pure muscle with 14 inches of pure iron. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I get that's what you wrote down and that's what you expect. But at the end of the day, you know,
gotta manage them expectations
at a certain point, right? So my thing is, I've always been successful in dating through counsel, through family.
Yeah.
Like, it's always been, oh, you such a nice guy, you would love my niece. So I say that to say your relationship skills and your personable skills and your availability skills matter too. Letting your family members know, hey, I'm in the market of looking for a husband. I'm looking for husband material. And this is how I'm rocking. This is how I'm carrying my energy. I'm looking for, let the niggas know I'm out here. Like, I am out here, but not on the internet. People that you know that know people that know. Because if that nigga tries some funny shit, we got to pull up on his damn mama. Now, y'all be meeting these strangers online, phantoms of the night, do all of this wild stuff, and then we trying to go figure out the child support situation, and Big Daddy Mike ain't his real name.
Dudes really get beat up off this stuff. Like, dudes really get hurt. I
just want to say I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. Put this thing. I hate you.
Didn't we put up the warning at the beginning of the show? Warning, triggering conversation.
We did. This is the first thing I said.
Stop getting men jumped out here.
No, but it's very serious to deal with your family, specifically in relationships, to have counsel. Because if you are the person, I don't care who you are, the reason that your relationships are fucked up is because you chose them. You don't know the best thing for you. You can't even see yourself. Motherfuckers will eat 12 goddamn donuts a day and think that it's the best thing for them. Niggas will drink Sprite religiously because it tastes good. They don't care about the sugar.
All day long. Nigga had 5 Mountain Dews today. That is the equivalent of a gallon of plastic, nigga.
But then want to choose their relationships.
You know.
Think about your counsel.
They will justify it to high heaven. Like, they will justify it.
the problem with relationships is that we choose them when we really shouldn't choose them. And when they don't work out right, it's because we chose them. You need an act of God to find a partner. Thus, when we're still on the first question, when we asked this dude, Jeff, what got him the girls, and he said Chakra Nova. I'm still on that question, whether y'all know it or not. This is just the longest formless answer of answering a question.
Longest elaboration ever. Like I was waiting to get to Beyonce. Like I just wanted to say Beyonce.
An hour and 10 minutes in.
I just wanted to say.
Yeah,
I just wanted to say her name, and maybe she would hear about me saying her name, and then it would be like a quick email. I just had a random
Beyonce alone. Like we leaving Beyonce alone because we got a brilliant question. We got a brilliant question. I need all of y'all to tap into this.
That one on the screen?
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, as somebody
in relation to relationships?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Okay.
If it's something that I feel like is like presented on television or something in that lines of like it's like kind of being acted out, I know that it's just it's something that is not of like kind of like my source in a way. It's something that I'm being kind of presented as to something that I should want. And if it's something that I should want, then clearly that's expectation. Like my happiest moments are when I really just don't care and things just come like it like things just come
energy.
That, for real. But at the same time, that feminine that's it's scary to get to that point. Understand that that really takes work.
Think about a chick who ain't never worked a day in her life, just bad as hell, run into a millionaire, and the millionaire say, "Damn, baby, you look so good. I'm gonna pay the rest of your rent for the rest of your life, and your off-break rent for the rest of your life." Yeah. Now, Jeff, how many times have a nigga seen you and said, "You look so good, I want to pay your rent"? Has that ever happened to you before? Has anybody decided that you look so good that they wanted to come out of $800 to $1,200 to pay your rent?
Hell no. like that sound like hell. Like hell no. I wouldn't even want that. I wouldn't even want that.
It's super normal for women. I would pay my wife's rent in a heartbeat. Never think twice about it. Yeah. It's my mandatory duty to make sure at the very least that the rent is paid. I have to do that.
Security, right? Safety first.
Safety first.
Yeah.
So think about that.
And like, yeah, to be honest, just me thinking about this as a man, that's a tough position to be in as a woman. Let me not like I got answers for that. Like to be like a woman has to choose between what is and what isn't. All I gotta say is I hope you connected to something that's real to be able to help you make that decision, because a lot of folks is just out here like just doing what everybody else is doing, not being connected to stuff that really matters. And that's what makes you lost out here. You gonna find yourself a sucker out here by some. Everybody takes losses in some way or another. Like what like are your losses like detrimental? I hope not, but I hope you learning from every little thing that happens, because everybody's taking hits. We all the four of us is all taking hits every day, but we making sure that we put ourselves in position that those hits don't hurt us for real. We do the point of doing this work is to make sure that every little hit you take, you learn from, you really do alchemize, so you really can be who you really say that you really truly want to be out here.
Nice.
For real.
Yeah. I don't have anything to add to that. Yeah, I agree with
you. Your expectation is the energy in reference to what you already are experiencing already, but you might not like it based upon you expected some bullshit because you act in a way of bullshit parameters and things of that nature. How do you know if it's bullshit if you're not having the actual conversation in relation to what you're doing? So you're doing something based upon the expectation, but you never got a clear indication that I like my clothes folded. I want you to cook for me. I even like girls that twerk for me, and I like doing all of this stuff. Like you're doing all of this pre-programmed shit for this dude. But you didn't never say, hey, babe, what do you like specifically? Or because that question is too demeaning. But you would then say, I please my man on all levels. I do all types of shit for him. I do the shit that I want to do for him, though. The shit that gets too specific, that's too demeaning, too triggering, and too accommodating, too giving. So ultimately, you deal with a relationship and what it presents itself as. That's your expectation, whether you know it or not. So if she treating you bad, you expected it. At some level, if she treating you great, you expected it. What Jeff was saying, that magnetism, that feminine energy is not reserved for women. Men can be feminine energy. Like you could be a straight up dweeb, nerd, nothing ass, dusty ass, rusty ass, crusty ass knuckle, and tap into your chakra nova and be in your feminine energy. And now all of the baddies want to deal with you. And you're like, damn, why am I getting this attention? Because it's all energy. It's all magnetism. It's all femininity. But men don't even think like that. We think that we got to be the greatest nigga on the world.
On the outside.
That ain't even sustainable. What's sustainable is you being yourself and attracting energy based upon who you are naturally, right? Think about that. You are who you are. You attracting people for who you are, and they like you for who you are. Meaning that you don't even got to change for who you are. That's expectation. When you want stuff, you got to change who you are, rigmarole. Now you uncomfortable because now you can't even be yourself because you want this relationship. You want something, you ain't going to get it because you want it. You expect it. If I expect a steak and you bring me out chicken, well, by law, I get my money back, right? If I go into the restaurant and tell them I want a chicken, they're gonna look at me serious, like, well, it costs $100 for this chicken or whatever the case may be. You wanting it ain't enough. You need to have something. It's your expectation game. But hence how you don't pay for nothing till after you eat. Yeah, I know. So
what an analogy.
You went completely left and upright on that one, and I appreciate it because it still went through the uprights. But I'm just going to disagree, and I will.
We can't agree with each other all the time.
And we're not supposed to. Like I don't agree. I don't agree with your haircut. I don't like your haircut.
I don't like yours either. You shaved.
I don't like your hat. I don't like your glasses. Yep. I don't like your hat. I don't like your glasses.
Yo, I'm jealous of the rabbit, man.
I don't like the fact that the background is gray right now, and I think it's white, but it looked gray. I don't like that because it's my computer, and I got a cheap ass computer. I don't like that right now. So, what I'm gonna say is, I disagree because I believe one is an extension of the other. One comes from the other. I won't say most people because I can't stand that connotation when people impose that on others that they haven't even met or don't even know. So let's just say this: on average, you don't embark on a particular thing unless you expect to get an outcome from it. So when you embark on that particular thing and you expect to get that outcome, you want those particular things to come in succession in order to accumulate the outcome that you expected. Now, whether you choose to embark on that thing because you expect a particular outcome that you wanted or you was forced to want, that is inconsequential to this conversation. What we are talking about is an expectation. An expectation is an extension of a want. So when you want something, you expect a particular outcome after you get these wants accumulated to a particular point, right? Because you're expecting something on the other end of that.
Yeah.
Right? So
depends if you're feminine, bro. Like you seen girls in high school that
it don't matter if you're feminine or masculine. It don't matter. It don't matter if you're feminine or masculine because you got masculine niggas that do feminine things. We got masculine niggas that do feminine things.
That's what I'm
Okay,
talking
so we
about.
can agree.
And the reason that they're
We could-
doing it is for reception, though.
Yeah, but one
The
is
girl
an
fights are
extension of
always
the other.
worse.
They are not
Yeah.
necessarily separate things. One is an extension of the other.
Mhm.
If we're
I
doing
like-
math and 1 and 1 is 2 or 1 and 1 is 11,
Don't say 3.
then
Don't say
you go
3. Okay.
you say expectation, and then I
Yeah.
want a particular thing because I expect something on the other end.
Yeah.
It feels like that, but I'm trying to elaborate on a particular point of not wanting shit, but expecting the utmost and living it and never even saying it, because what's understood don't necessarily need to be said. So generally, if it ever happens to a point, I guess it's more or less manipulation and seduction and some real deep dark shit to where in the
Then
space
that's not
of
real shit.
yeah, you're right.
That's not real
But
shit.
but it's
You know
the
what I'm saying?
dynamics of relationships, though. It's the dynamics of relationships, because let's act like motherfuckers is having a conversation to what's
Please.
really happening out here in their relationships. Is that's what's happening?
Folks
How
is
many
confused.
relationships
But what
are
I'm
people
saying is-
quiet in?
What I'm saying is when you say that's the dynamics of relationships, who says everybody has to follow the same dynamic, my nigga?
Right.
Like
But
when you
if there's no
get with the next
conversation,
woman or you
then
get with the
it's gonna
next
be
dude,
confusing.
why can't y'all create your own dynamic? Aren't y'all
Because
supposed
there
to
is no
create your own
conversation.
dynamic?
They're not gonna talk about shit. They're
Then
both gonna
we're
expect
back to
everything.
relationship skills. Yeah, then we're back
Because
to relationship skills.
to
Right.
to
Exactly.
that point,
Right.
to that and to like the original point, when a lot of men really try to say what they got to say, a lot of women be like, really like that they say like, okay, they try to separate stuff, and that's not even a woman thing, that's a man thing. But it's like when we try to connect stuff, one side always tries to say, oh, that's a man stuff, that's a woman stuff. Nah, fam, like we all, if you try to separate, then you don't want to separate and what's really going on. We need to be connecting. Everything's connected. We really together. So if you think my problems is not your problems, and if you think your problems, like if you think that, and not in the sense that you need to take on people's problems, but if you think that it's not related, then I'm just being honest, you tripping out here. If like my problems, if I'm not being respected as a man in this system, then that has something to do. Like I'm,
Yeah, it's your problem too.
I'm spitballing out here,
It's
but
gonna
we
be
all
your sons,
interconnected.
it's gonna
We're
be
all
your
the same.
sons, your fathers, and your
You right
cousins.
and exact. Yeah, you right and
Yeah.
exact. The
I
issue is if you don't fully know your capabilities as a man, you can't then expect somebody on the outside to respect you as that.
Yes. And if you don't
Like,
show
how are
yourself
you
as
supposed to
that,
yeah, like if you don't know your capabilities and you are with an individual that you are having this conversation with, that you guys are talking about building and growing and expanding together and getting to that point, if this is not an understood thing, like Hood mentioned, we're not having this conversation, then we're just doing this relationship just to be doing this relationship.
So
And that's
can
what
we
ultimately
say,
Go
can
ahead,
we
I'm
say
sorry.
that a man's power is, what is a man's power? Is it understood or is it demonstrated?
I think the problem is that we're still asking about what's the fuck power each one has.
I'm
Right?
just referencing
So
off
you
what
asked
you
the
just
question.
said. I'm just
I
going
know
off
you
what
are.
you
I know
just
you are. I know you are. I know you are. And then what I'm saying is I think that's the problem that we have as men. Right? Remember, since a woman was born, she was told what? It's a man's world. Think
Mhm.
about that. You give life on this planet and your entire existence, man has told you it's a man's world, my nigga.
Mhm.
that's a problem.
Like
in
we're having a
itself.
conversation about this. We're having a conversation about the psychological disposition of men. We can't
Mhm.
even venture into the realm of the woman
That's the fact.
because
That's
not
where
only
I'm
has
at.
she not only has she had to venture into the race thing, but she has to venture into the gender thing, which is why her disposition since the beginning is survival, my nigga.
yeah.
Because even black niggas like to say, well, niggas do this while women that. That just told me how stupid you is, nigga. Like, we can't have the conversation because we're still having the conversation about what niggas do versus what women do. We're not having the conversation about what do people do.
Women be just as G's as men, and men just be just as I'm not gonna say no words, but just as bad, as women can be. Like it's all this. It's not no.
I'm sorry.
No
I'm
sex,
sorry
not
to
no
yell.
sex,
Don't
no gender.
apologize. Don't apologize. Don't apologize. So the people power, right? To me, and again, this is where I really started in my internal alchemy, right? When I started feeling my own light bulb, so to speak. When I started on that path of cultivating my energy, of trying to be understanding of the things going on emotionally and mentally and physically with me. When I took on that path, then I started to see, okay, it's just a people thing. Like you said, Rob, it's a people thing. And to me, Hood, when you talk about power in a person, what I see when I look at people, right, my instinct gives me a bit of an idea of how much of their light they're letting shine through. And I could be right, I could be wrong, but it takes time for me to build a relationship with someone to see that. So for me, your power resides in how much of yourself you allow yourself to be.
That's powerful. That's powerful.
Everybody's on a different spectrum because I know that I've been in positions where I haven't been able to show myself as much as I want to, but it's just the circumstances I'm in. I can't be like, if I did, that might be detrimental. So it's not not maybe to myself, but for other folks. So sometimes you really have to just hold yourself to give yourself space to grow. You're in that cocoon. It's okay. It's okay to not be there. And I know a lot of other people that I'm talking to are in that space too. And we're all working. We're all working to be able to showcase ourselves more and more. So everybody needs to give themselves that space, and it's not a bad place to be. It just needs to be understood that you have to be able to give yourself that space to grow and to be in that cocoon to be who you really want to be.
Because that's the overall goal for me. Like if I could see it from a perfect point of view, if you have an opportunity to be your best self, then I say go full forward in being your best self. Because if you want a relationship, you want that relationship to be a reflection of your best self, and you have to initiate that process.
Yep.
So I love for men to just be great. You know what I'm saying? Because I never seen a great man be pressed for vagina. So certain times where we looking at the situation, it's a reflection of our weakness. And I'm okay with saying at times I didn't have all my shit together, and I acknowledged that shit within myself. And I decided that I was going to level up for myself. And I'm glad I made that decision, because now my magnetism is in relation that can't nobody tell me nothing about myself. And what's even crazier is that I'm not even going to beat myself up for the rest of 2021, family.
Exactly.
Like, I'm going to actually, for the rest of this year, say, you know what?
People get back in that cocoon. Get back in the cocoon.
For years, you're going to have to start accepting it and receiving it, acknowledging it, and living it as such that people say, don't give up, keep going, shining your light. That's what I got to wake up with, that mentality. That's all. I'm just thinking of different ways of making sure that men understand that this is a show for men being their best self in relation to absorbing all of their problems that they have with women.
Yeah.
And I think that points to the reason why the completion of supreme masculinity with supreme femininity is such a beautiful thing. Like, these two brothers are an exception to the rule when you talk about prime. Like, they found their counterparts, they found their equal opposites. Like,
not to spoil the next segment, like there's no such thing as an equal opposite. There is no such thing as an equal individual. But I digress. So I just want to say that these niggas inspire me. They just point back to my spirit that makes my spirit inspire me, right? So I love listening to them because they encourage me that I can still accomplish that within a possible relationship for myself within the future. Like, I'm not that individual. Like, I've been celibate for more than 2 years. I don't give a fuck about sex, but I am a sexual fucking human being. You understand? Having a spiritual human being experience. But still, like, I'm still a sexual dude here. Right? Yeah. I'm a sexual dude here. We all are. Like, if I was here and tell you, if Dr. Delicious walked across the screen right now, and I sit here and tell you I'll be still talking some profound shit, that profound shit would be like in my sweatpants. Like, I can't lie about this stuff. Okay. So what I'm saying is, like, these niggas inspire me. Like, they point right back to my spirit, and that's what these dudes. Like,
that's a fact. Honestly, I tell you that for a fact. It's easy for you to manifest a divine feminine energy when you tap into your divine masculine. Yep. Especially if you hang out with me. You niggas who know. If you know, you know, right? Yeah. You get situations that occur. Yes.
and you don't have to fake it.
Like, yes, that was me.
How many championships?
On TMZ. I want to be the nigga on TMZ right now. They be like, yep, that nigga was doing it again. That motherfucking Colombian exchange is going all over the damn place. Yes, they just not putting us on the news. Okay, yes, that's me.
I just got to say one thing in case, because as we are going into this spiritual age, right, of empowerment through knowledge of self, just a warning to any young guys that might be listening to this. You don't have to be, once you find your pathway to your divinity, and which means divine masculinity, divine femininity, but the pathway to your divinity, and you start attracting these people in your life, it don't mean you got to marry or be the best of friends with everybody you attract into your life.
Please say it again. Say it again, because nobody told me 18 months ago. Say it again.
Once you start shining your divinity and you start attracting these people in your life, it doesn't mean that you have to be married to them or be the best of buddies. Period.
See, that nigga just blessed me. He let me off the hook. I was in the confessional.
Yeah, to that point for me, like sometimes you got to make sacrifices for yourself that you don't even understand why you making that sacrifice in that moment. Like sometimes you don't see why. Like sometimes you small folk might call you crazy but like honestly, don't like me as an individual. I don't really be talking to people about what I do. I just do what I do. But I like it ain't people business. But as far as like a question like that, when you're talking about preserving your energy, I done definitely been in like just done like, all right, I'm gonna take, I'm gonna say, I'm not gonna say how many months I'm gonna take just doing like just ignoring everybody who they throwing it at me, and anybody else would be like, oh, you crazy for just like ignoring what's going on, or it's not ignoring or passing up. It's not passing up. It's just I know what's really going on, and I don't need that right now. I'm cool. I'm good. Like trust me, I'm I'm better than the situation right now, and not better than anybody, but like the situation, like we both need that. We all need to elevate in this situation. So let's just pause and chill right now until we really figure out what we really trying to do, and then that's when we can really move forward.
What's that TLC song? Let's take our time.
For like, yeah.
I don't know the song, but I'm gonna Google it.
I don't know.
I'm gonna Google it for sure.
Janet, let's wait a while.
I was about to say I don't know, but I do know. It's a mix. It's a balance. It's a balance between men not understanding like that importance of being able to do that. But at the same time, the other side, a woman not respecting of a man who can really come like that, is both sides.
Yeah, I had a chick for 2 years asking me, was I gay? I was like you, Serpent. I was like celibate for like about 3 years at one point in my life. And this one lady, she kept saying every day, what's wrong with you? Are you gay? Does it work? Can you get it up? Well, why don't you want me? I mean, she was fine. Don't get me wrong. She was like ta-ta-ta-licious. Fine. Okay. But I knew that I did not want to mix my energy with her because I didn't want that relationship. But she every day, are you gay? What's wrong with you? Anyway.
No, I know that's the number one thing for being an agreeable man is that it's like, and it's so super dismissive too. It's like, don't listen to him, he's gay. like what the fuck? But ain't your best friend gay that you take all of your advice from? Like,
right,
I'm confused.
right.
Nah, that's wild.
Y'all really be
That's
getting
wild.
y'all really
Small trigger point.
y'all really be messing with guys. It's like either you really mess with a guy's mind,
Small trigger point.
either you want to mess with a guy's mind or you want to like mess with him physically. It's like if a man makes a decision, like
I want it all. I want a woman to mess with all my chakras.
I'm with you there, but
Small trigger
woman,
point. Is there a such thing? Is there a such thing on the planet more stronger than a woman's ego?
Who?
Don't worry, I will wait. Because you won't sleep with her, no matter how she looks. Because you won't sleep with her, no matter how she looks, nigga. You gotta be gay before she can be the problem. Think about that. I want you to think about that. Listen, nigga, no matter how she looks, right? She gonna look like a linebacker from South Carolina, right? If you don't want to sleep with her, nigga, you gay.
But being gay wasn't a problem when you was hanging out with Nene and them at the bar last night.
Yeah,
y'all was kicking it because Nene had all the weed and all the liquor. Nene is your girl. But how come I can't be on Nene's status?
Like,
kind of crazy.
It also depends on how you grow up,
disposition.
Yeah, it depends on how you grow up.
I got the real story. And I'm gonna keep it a buck. All right. I slept in the bed with 2 females and didn't try and smash. Right. Mm-hmm. Both of them were smashable. Okay. This is right. This is ratchet level, right? Ratchet level, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the morning was me cooking for 2 women that I didn't sleep with, right? All I heard the rest of the week. Nope. All I heard the rest of the week was that nigga gotta be gay.
Damn. But I thought they wanted somebody to respect them for more than just their body.
Listen. I was too high. Like I'm a be for real. Like I was so high. Like I was in the bed with them and forgot they was in the bed. Like I couldn't get it up. Like I rolled over. I was like, I'm in the bed with 2 women.
All right. So
like, what happened last night? Like I had one of those nights, and every nigga know what I'm talking about with one of those nights. I'm just keeping it a buck, right? But what I'm saying is, I was like, word. My bad. I didn't know it was that kind of party.
Right.
I thought I was supposed to be respectful. I was supposed to be ratchet. See, that's when God come down and be like, your fault, nigga.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the thing about it, bro. Like, anytime I ever got sex, it wasn't out of a conversation. It was more on some masculine shit. Like, take these goddamn pennies off. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't never be soft and gentle when it comes to getting pussy. I gotta be a man when it comes to that shit. If I want it, I gotta think on how I'm gonna get it, and to the point where it's like, damn, I like when you be this masculine type of energy with it. I like when you stand in your masculine energy. It make me want you more. And it's like, even everything you do, whether you know it or not, you being scrutinized. And I know y'all don't want to hear this, and it's triggering to the men because it's like, if you stood in your masculine principle a majority of the time, you would be a magnet to feminine energy, and the feminine energy that magnetizes you would respect you because you can't disrespect masculine energy. It's a sustainer. To which, how do you maintain serious relationships? Well, if I gave you all of the crops, you can eat all of that shit. And we know how it goes after you eat it all. You don't just stop being hungry after you eat it all. That's a feminine energy. Receive. Masculine energy is output, and thus it knows how to create more of the shit that you want. So if you know for a fact that you are if you know how to cultivate the land, you are a commodity in the community. Men refuse to get on their masculine square, and that's why they suffer. Fuck
Nigga,
all
that's
of this
the next
shit.
shirt. I'm sorry.
Fuck
Shameless plug. That's
shit.
the next shirt. Oh, what did he say? Your masculinity is what? What did he just say? That. I hope you writing that down.
Men that refuse to get.
Brown, are you writing that?
I didn't. Nah, I'm gonna rewind that. I was replying to Unija.
Listen. That's a shirt, nigga. ColombianExchange.com, nigga. That is a shirt, nigga. My bad. Go ahead, Hood.
I threw my notebook across the room.
No, I mean it's just simple.
That was a shirt, nigga. I don't give a fuck what you said. Like that was Carl Jung. Like I need to hear that again. Like, could somebody play that back, please? Tell me, please. Goodness gracious.
It's around one.
That's a lot of shit, bro. That's you can't brush over that shit, bro. You can't brush over that shit, bro. Comprehension, my nigga. Comprehension.
It's not a point. It's not a point because it's easy to like Nikos is in the chat. Not everything. A majority of like me and Nico talk, right? And I learned from the shit that Nikos tell me about how he raised his children. I incorporate that shit in my household. Yeah. You understand how valuable that is to have another man in your life taking care of fucking business that you can talk to. And if a man that you respect is doing something, that obviously must be a good thing to do because you respect them. Obviously.
It's very rare out here. Huh? It's very rare out here. It's very rare out here. This is very rare.
It is. That's why I'm referencing Nikos as probably.
I don't think it is.
I think it's getting less rare.
I was gonna say I don't think it's rare. I don't think it's rare. I think it's that people are not looking.
Yes. What are you looking for?
Exactly. Because he didn't have to go far to find Nico. He didn't have to go far to find fucking Nico. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have to go far to find him. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have to go far to find Prime. We didn't have to go far to find you. Like it's not. It's
what are your expectations?
It's comprehension. It's comprehension and it's recognition. I didn't have no fucking expectations. And I met Hood Mystic. He fell in my fucking lap. He gave me a reason to redefine my purpose, understand what the fucking purpose was, right? He reminded me of something I already had. He didn't give me nothing I didn't already have. And that's his fucking fine print. Like, I'm not giving you nothing you don't already have. If it resonates with you, that means it was already in you. So therefore, I'm just bringing it to the surface, my nigga. Niggas that do this shit positively for one another and negatively for one another bring this shit to the surface. But can you allow that to expand you? Or is that just something you just going to use for the moment? Get that initial instant gratification and then throw it off to the side like as if it didn't even exist. That's the difference. Niggas is mostly self-centered. So whatever I can add to my purse and then disregard like as if it didn't exist, that's what I will use rather than saying, this nigga helped me do this and I'm here now. Niggas always love to tell you the sob story, right? The blue collar story. I pulled myself up by the bootstrap. Nigga, that's going to be next week's motherfucking dogma.
Yes,
how the fuck you pulled yourself up by the bootstrap by yourself, nigga? Get the fuck out my face, nigga.
I'm writing that down.
Like, come on.
No.
Niggas always love to tout themselves by themselves. That's the conceit. That's the conceit, my nigga.
Anything anybody see me doing, I would not be possible if it wasn't for like people like these guys, like me seeing what they got to say and me like holding myself accountable to their message. Like if you ain't holding yourself, if you're not in relationship with other people, other spiritual beings out here, like who on that vibe of we spiritual beings having that human experience, if you not having conversation with people on that same vibe, you missing the whole point. I don't even you lost.
Nah, I'm at home in my room reading this book on spirituality. I'm good. I understand it all.
It's very important to understand.
I forget who he said. The nigga said I was reading Judy K. King. What's that nigga said? That nigga said Judy K. King. I won't even say his name. He said I was reading Judy K. King. I was what? Wait a minute. Go ahead, Hood. I'm sorry.
No, you good. I was just saying, man. I'm pulling up a Bible verse. You can keep going. No, but seriously, it's funny how people are scholastic warriors in reference to spirituality when the overall crux is that we all have work to do in the space of communication, in the space of coming together, in the space of finding our purpose, in the face of healing our trauma, in the space of healing our family life, in the face of dealing with our ancestors, meaning that we have so much spiritual work to do, right? Healthy pleasure, right? As opposed to toxic pleasure that leads us in dark spaces. The reason that because you may want to have sex, you might as well be better attracting sex and standing in your masculine principle as opposed to looking for sex. I challenge any man that's in my presence, in my work field. If you stressing for pussy, you need to delete me as a friend. Like I don't like that energy around me. Fuck out of here. We do not DM women. We do not do thirsty shit. You stand in your masculine energy.
My uncle used to have this saying, "You thirsty McGirsty ass nigga, get the fuck out of here with that shit, man." Like no, like
it really ruins the vibes.
There were these two bulls sitting on top of a hill.
My nigga.
I should have recorded this part.
There's these two bulls sitting on top of a hill. One was this young bull, and he was all full of energy and bucking like, snorting and whatever, right? And go up to the old bull, and he say, "Look at all them cows down there. I'm gonna run down that hill, and I'm gonna get me one of them cows." And the old bull said, "Why don't you walk down slow and take your time and do them all?"
Exactly. That's all we trying to say in relation to your relationships, because there's no sense to rush in. I'm gonna give you some more old man game. Proverbs chapter 12, verse 15.
Yeah.
The way of a fool is right in his own eyes. I said the way of a fool is right in his own eyes. So whenever you thinking this is right, to the point that you won't even bring it into another person to get some advice on whether it's right or wrong, might be a stupid ass idea, right? Because you think it's right. This is going to be a tough part for a lot of y'all. A lot of y'all got to sit and meditate on Proverbs chapter 12, verse 15.
I like that.
The way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but a wise man listens to advice. Y'all got any challenges in wrestling? Do y'all really think that everything y'all think about is right and exact? I need to know.
I never think nothing that I think is right and exact. Like, nope. I think I call you for the dumbest shit in America. Like, I just be like, yeah, just he's like, yeah, why are you calling me for that? I usually know when I'm okay when you don't answer me. Like, you just be like, yeah, I'm not answering that right now. Not right now. Not right now. Like, I get hit with the not right now at least 3 times a week. At least 3 times a week. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know what people might think of my communication is with these folks, but like I may text like Hood or Rob. I may like just text somebody throughout the day with no response because what I got to say, I'm working through some stuff in my mind, and maybe I just need to get that off. And you like we talking about no expectations. Like Like get your stuff off. Don't be like,
Yeah,
he need to be hitting me off, or he need to be. He's supposed to do something for me. I do that for me, for my damn self, like because I need to get something off. But then when every time I do that, every time I go through my little, I got probably 10
Stuff.
messages I send to him. Then he don't get no response. Like that 11th message, it's like, that's why I did that. Like that was
Everything you needed in one.
Everything
you needed in one.
That was my revelation. But it was really, I was doing that for myself. I sent that stuff to him just because, you know, I ain't trying to be holding stuff in. But we all got to find a way to be able to express ourselves as freely, as openly, without expectation. Like we're all doing this for ourselves, but we all need to be doing it together for ourselves.
You know what it is? I think it's the self-conversation. It's the self-conversation, right? So we all have conversations with ourselves in our head, right? And then because we unsure about it, but we think something of it, we're not sure what we got to say it to our peoples, right? So that's normally what happens. Like you say it to your peoples, and your peoples regurgitate and then reciprocate exactly what you need from it, and you come to your own conclusion, right? But ultimately, like you having that conversation in your head, and you just wind up thinking out loud. You wind up texting the nigga. You're like, what you think about this? You probably should have kept it to yourself. But you know what I'm saying? That nigga not responding, just like, you know, like, yeah, nigga, you should just kept it to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Don't be
at that same point, sometimes you just need to get that off. You need to, like, don't hold that in. You know, like get that off. Like, you need to get that off.
It's necessary. That's why he's in your phone. It's necessary. But what I'm saying is normally, like, the no response means, yeah, you could have kept that to yourself.
Yeah, for sure. That's real talk. But that's all of us. We all do that to somebody.
Right.
We all do it. I do it to both of dudes. I do it to both of them. Now I'm gonna start doing it to you. Like you're gonna start feeling it. Like damn, I'll be on Google for like an hour now because you asked the question. Like
I think it's important to get people that know who can help you with what exactly, because generally friends can be friends, but business can be business. And I think if you're serious about anything, you're going to have a file cabinet for motherfuckers.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to learn how to compartmentalize and deal, like, seriously,
at least a mental one.
At least a mental one, because generally, like, I know we want to be children out here, but let's imagine that we're not children and we're not going to judge the people that we do business with. Because say, for instance, Burger King makes a croissant sandwich. And you're not going to get that croissant sandwich because the little girl that's working at Register 1 hollered at your baby daddy a couple of times. You're going to get that damn croissant sandwich. Irregardless of who working at Register 1.
You get that bitch 8 o'clock in the morning, right away. You go get that bitch.
Freshly made with that croissant sandwich being, you know how that croissant sandwich get, like, it's not soft, but it got a nice little bounce to it. Like it bounced back normal when you squeeze it.
Crispy. It's in between.
Ooh, and it got the crispy layer at top.
When you squeeze it, it's like elastic. It's like elastic when you squeeze it, my nigga. And then when you bite into it, it melt. It melt.
Crunchy.
Yeah,
when the croissant sandwich melt in your mouth.
That's how you know it's fake. That's how you know it's fake, nigga. It's a commercial.
You're gonna get that croissant sandwich regardless who working at that. So the overall point is, when it's time to get what you need to get, you're gonna get it. Irregardless, if you needed to get something, when your mind is set, and you work years or months or even days or even hours on a particular project, and you right at the precipice of it, and somebody at the finish line that you don't like, is you going to stop and turn around?
Right.
You're going to keep on going and say, look, I know you don't like me, but the fact that you don't like me is not the reason that I'm not going to progress in my life. So in our lives, where we think about our children and we think about being long-sighted, let's think about this year. What beef can we end? What beef can we squash? Because we're not ridiculous.
If a triple OG Crip was at the drive-thru and a triple OG Blood was at the motherfucking drive-thru window, and that nigga wanted a chicken sandwich, you think that nigga not gonna fucking? You think that nigga not gonna cop that chicken sandwich? You think he gonna clap him in the
late.
drive-through window?
It's too late.
He gonna buy that sandwich, my nigga.
They
He
probably gonna have
that.
a truce.
Yeah.
Because
come on, my nigga, he gonna get that. He gonna get that.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, it's a joke right now, but at the same time, that shit ain't real.
And that's where
real.
maturity comes in.
When you want something, the determination based on what you want and the expectation you think you're going to receive based on the thing that you want will determine what you are willing to do.
And also that the ability to forgive is also your ability to have successful relationships. Your ability to judge is your ability to live the majority of your life alone when probably you don't want to be alone. Now you want to be alone as
and
a
I view
result.
those things as the same thing.
No. It's
Not
the same thing because you want to be.
It's not, but I do. What I'm saying is,
listen.
Okay.
Listen. If you wanted to be in a relationship and the shit didn't work out, and you then make a decision that you now want to be alone, that's false. You fucked up. So because you fuck up, it's not the same thing. When your reaction and your action is misaligned, you go and take your reaction as the modus operandi, and now it's related to the initial space. But if you didn't want to be in a relationship as an essential part of your being, then you would have never gotten into a relationship to begin with. That's what you didn't want to. That's when you decide I didn't want to be in a relationship. That's when it's the same thing.
Yeah, you're right.
I didn't want to be in a relationship, so you never got into a relationship. No, now I don't get into counsel and relationships. I don't talk to my mama and grandma about my relationship choices. Ask my daddy, is this a good man? Ask, or I have a strong masculine energy in my life to police and protect me within my relationships. I don't have that. But I'm going out here willy-nilly, choosing the wrong man, adopting the wrong ideologies, and thus I don't want to be with nobody now. That ain't the same. Yes, you do. You just don't know how to do it at all.
Yes.
And you think that it's a normal and natural process when it actually takes a lot of work.
Yes.
I think it's more deeper than that. Like if you normally don't want to be with nobody, and that's that religious background, Christianity, Catholic thing, where you think you impose this unnecessarily disproportionate guilt on yourself because of what you think you did wrong. So because you think you did so much wrong in that last relationship, you think you don't deserve to be in another relationship, and because you think you don't deserve to be in.
Lies, though.
I'm just concurring. I'm just concurring what you're saying. Yeah, I know
it's not true. It's false ideas appear real.
That's a religious thing. That's a religious thing, because religion tells you if you do something wrong, you have to pay for it. And that's what these people operate off of. If you do something wrong, you have to pay for it, even though you already got your karma for it. You think you have to keep imposing this unnecessarily disproportionate will on yourself.
Walk down the street, lashing your back.
But the karma that you impose on yourself is saying that you don't want to be in a relationship when you clearly want to be in a relationship because you went on 50 first dates.
Yep.
You want to be in a relationship. You just don't know how to do it.
Willing, and you're so willing to outwardly show your pain. That's the evidence, right? You're so willingly to outwardly show your pain that you need people to understand what you are going through. And that's the whole problem with this whole white-black fallacy that you people love to talk about, right? This is the reason why nobody cares about your emotional feelings when somebody gets shot live on TV. You cannot make a person feel what you are feeling. There is nothing you can do about it. I don't give a fuck what you saw. I don't care what you think is real unjust. I don't care. You can't make another person feel what you are feeling. That goes to disposition. That goes to endurance. That goes to what you incorporate. That goes to how you receive those things in your being, and then how you express them transmutingly. So it doesn't equate. It doesn't equate. You can't make another person feel what you are feeling. That's why no matter how many black people show a white person what white people used to supposedly do to black people, white people will never get it. Never.
No, I'll go further to elaborate on your point as to you can't feel what a person feeling.
They will never.
How many times have you cried for a young white boy that done died of a heroin overdose? Did you shed any tears for that?
There you go.
0.
That is the same thing.
How much compassion do you have for white families that have suffered loss after loss in rural Ohio?
Yeah.
0. And the ones that do see,
or any of the 50 states, or any of the 50 states, or any of the countries that you know have white people in it. Like,
and the suffering that goes with white communities.
You have never thought about venturing into caring about anybody white. Like, I don't care. You care about Lil Ray Ray in the movies, though. You care about Lil Ray Ray in the movies, though. His dad is a rapist, and his mom is just like degenerate. Like, you know what I'm saying? You care about Lil Ray Ray in the movie, though. That little white boy make you feel sad, right?
I did not watch that shit.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Me as a city boy.
I don't know neither. I was having fun. I don't know neither. That's not real. I'm sorry. That wasn't real.
Took it one step too far.
See, it's the weed.
Oh, get used to it, Jeff.
Blame it on the CBD.
Get used to it,
It's a part of me biologically. Don't worry about it. It don't work.
Nah, but like
opposites for each other to talk.
Opposites attract for a reason. Opposites attract for a reason. Like me as a person, like I grew up in this area, like this DC area, like on the East Coast, and I went to college, like in Midwestern Ohio. And the people that I messed with when I was out there in Ohio was like that. They practiced the opposite stuff of what I grew up on here. Like it was a whole different vibe. But I needed that. I needed to see that, because that helped me be able to just bridge a gap.
You just see it. You lived in it.
Yeah, exactly. I lived in it, and that helped me be able to bridge. Like taking it high level, like my, this side to this side. Let me just be able to connect things. My feminine, my masculine, to be like what I've been taught, and what folks that I've been around. What they preach may not be what's really the whole story. Everybody's telling their side of the story. Maybe you need to figure out the full and the whole story your damn self for yourself, like for real. Otherwise, you just.
I'm sorry. Every time I hear Ohio, I gotta shout out Bone Thugs, man.
Bone Thugs. Let me give shout out to Dave Chappelle too. Just awesome. Yeah, that too.
I think it'll boil down to like if you travel a lot of times, you realize you got to travel enough and stay in different places long enough to get outside of the neighborhood mentality, which a majority of people are more inundated in what such and such is doing over there, who got the
that reference,
best,
right,
like knowing where the best barbecue spot is. Like people pride themselves of like being neighborhood and being local. And generally, I think part of my growth and development was breaking through those barriers. Like once I let all of that petty neighborhood shit go, like really, like all the neighborhood shit go, I was able to tap in and tune in to spirituality for what it stands. Because a lot of times what's going on in the neighborhood is pure poppycock nonsense that don't matter at all. But a lot of times people pay attention to the gossip and the nostalgia of it, or back in the 70s, this was this and that and the third, and all of that type of shit. And it's like all of that shit is irrelevant, especially what you referenced earlier, Serpent, where this whole life is just a blip. So especially from neighborhood shit.
If you never felt, if you never felt people missing you, like you missing out. Like if you never left and be like, yo, like if people never told you like where you been at, or in a sense like you left us. Like to be honest, do not feel guilty for that. please, like, make
Mhm.
sure people feel that way. Make sure like you dip out and people miss your presence, because if otherwise you really just being trapped with how the game go for real.
Yeah. And
You need to
sometimes
know
you
Yeah.
got
your
to take
energy.
yourself out of a situation to get into
Exactly.
that situation, because there's a lot of people born into situations where people don't care about them, but then they have to have the wherewithal to go out and seek those relationships, you know.
Yeah. You got to
Any
know who
any
you
more
are
questions?
in any
Any more?
circumstances.
Are we missing some segments because we just talking right now? You want to keep going on
Yeah,
this, or
man,
you want
it's
to go
been
to some
2 hours. I don't know how
segments?
you want to roll that.
No,
How
we
you?
gonna have to roll it into another episode of Chakra Nova because we done went 2 hours
Okay,
deep,
okay.
and I'm about to get into some
I
packing
didn't
and
know.
moving, and I think this conversation was what
I
it
didn't
needed
know
to
we
be.
did
I
this.
think it was dope. I
Yeah,
think it was
it was
dope.
what it needed to be, and we can also build on it. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day,
Absolutely.
we cracked open a can and we about to see what's all up in here. I think like if anything, listen to this again and listen to yourself, fellas.
I got some
And
Mhm.
closing parts. I got some closing parts. I got some closing
indeed,
parts.
Yeah, me
indeed,
too.
I'm just kind of going through minds at this point, just listening to yourself and figuring out what you want to say next, in relation to how you feel and in relation to your experiences. Because my thing is, you shouldn't isolate yourself from women, but nor should you engorge in their what, like they gonna fucking play you like
Shenanigans.
they gonna play you like a damn rag doll if you think you about to get some pussy for nothing. You feel me? So play it
Thirsty.
G, play it professional, but engage and attune yourself with feminine energy. Learn feminine energy and teach masculine energy. Make yourself worthwhile in the community in some form or
Mhm.
some way. Even if you're the penny. What? Hold on. Where did that come from?
I hear you, but you still
Who's
can live and learn. You
who's
still can
sniffing
live and
penny
learn.
on the panel? I'm done
I
with
just
y'all.
You good, man. My only ending, I like to go back. I like again, Sacred Serpent, what you said when we were talking about how sex became or becomes weaponized, and you hit on the points of safety, survival, right? And then we started talking about how, when sexuality is healthy, you're really you're using that energy for creative purposes. And to me, that's just like boom, again, it keeps coming back to the chakras, right? You cultivate somebody, you cultivate your root chakra, then you know how to feel safe and secure, and you can help someone else with that feeling. You don't have to be that for them, but if you can emanate that vibe, you're going to attract that to you. You're going to attract people to you that have that, or they're going to come up to you and say, how did you get that? Right. And then the sacral chakra, once you're secure, then if you're safe and secure, you feel comfortable about indulging in pleasure. You feel comfortable about indulging in sex. Who the heck? I mean, don't get me wrong. I know there's some crazy people out there, right? I shouldn't say crazy. Let me watch what I say. I know there's some very adventurous people out there, but I don't want to have sex somewhere where it's dangerous. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I want a nice room with a locked door if I can. You know what I'm saying?
You
Some
trying to
peace
get
and
somebody
quiet.
in the hotel?
You know,
Play that Cassidy.
I ain't
Girl, you
trying to be
wanna come to my
outside.
hotel?
Right.
Holiday.
Yo,
But some
yo,
people are, and that's cool. And
mama,
that's cool.
mama Prime gonna be so mad
Yeah.
tonight. I swear to God. I swear to God. Yo, we ain't gonna have Prime for like 2 weeks. I swear. I
He
swear to
said,
God.
"What? You want to lock what, boy? Girl, you wanna come to my hotel?" Girl, let's
Sometimes you
do
need some
it.
God,
proof walls, man.
I swear to
And
God.
I want to get with
I
you because you
swear.
cutie.
God.
So if you want to go to my hotel, all you gotta
Where
do is
you going?
holler at me.
Yo,
We're
this
having
is
an
why I love
after
her. Listen,
party.
I don't give a fuck. I don't care about nothing else. This is
Drinking
why
up
I love her.
in the
We do this
morning.
for 3 hours a day. I love this nigga. I swear to God. Oh my God. Keep going. Keep going. I'm about to dance,
That's
nigga. Like, keep
it.
going. Keep going.
That's it. That's it.
So yeah, it comes back to the chakra work. That's all I'm saying. Chakra Nova. the courses are out there. Like people that might be listening to this, that's like, what the hell are y'all talking about?
Mhm.
We spent 7 months going through each of the chakras.
No, you're lying, Prime.
Okay, we spent more than that. All right. All right.
Yes, we spent about 15 months on this shit because we took 3 months in between the last 3 chakras, Prime.
Word. Okay. It was a long time. I know that. It was a lot of study, a lot of prep.
But was you bored though? Was you bored?
No, hell no. Hell no, man. It was another.
He forgot at the time. He was obviously mesmerized.
Yeah, it was something that I think, like at all that we was talking, I wanted to say, like, you never want for shit. Shit just happens to you. And if you could accept that part of your beingness, then that's when it starts to work for you. Like, part of it is submitting and being like confused and overwhelmed. Like, what the fuck am I gonna do next? This is a scary situation. And then Spirit saying, do this, do that, do this, do that. And then you following Spirit, and it's like, damn, it looked like a nigga know what he doing, that he got it under control. But this come from a lot of soul. Like, I'm here soul searching, and then it just so happened it's the right thing. And it's like, okay, what can I offer y'all? Search your fucking soul for the answers to the best of your abilities.
Yeah, that's it.
And that would be the thing. That would be the thing that I would say to Prime. You know, like Prime's recognition of himself. It's the same thing that Hood says about me. If Prime recognized who he was within himself, then y'all would see the true genius. Y'all don't get to see the true genius. We see this shit like all the time. We just be like, who the fuck are you? Like, he's like the Black Magava with dreads. Like, I swear, y'all just don't understand. Y'all don't understand. Y'all don't get it. Y'all listen. Hood Mystic is like the Black Neo, right?
Yeah.
He's like the Black Keanu Reeves with a beard. Like, he's like the Black Keanu Reeves with a beard, right? And Prime Harmonic is like the Black Miyagi with dreads, right? Just think about Mr. Miyagi with dreads, my nigga. Like, that's Prime Harmonic. So you got Neo and Mr. Miyagi, nigga. I work with both of these niggas for the last 2 years. I swear to God, I will fight anybody right now. I'll probably lose.
But it'll be a good lesson.
Right now.
You'll learn.
You'll learn your lesson.
Listen, nigga. I will learn.
Spiritual
I have a
witches can
smile
fight.
the next day
Don't
with
fight
2
these
black
spiritual
eyes.
witches.
I have
Don't fight these spiritual
I have
witches.
a smile with 2 black eyes the next day. Like, whatever, nigga. Like, no cap, no pun intended. I'm just being funny. I just love these niggas. I swear I love these niggas.
Likewise, man. You are the occult psychologist for a reason.
My parting shots are simple. No disrespect to a gender, to a race, and no disrespect to your idea of a status that you have because of a gender or a race, right? No disrespect to any of y'all. What I would want is the opportunity to start a conversation with some beautiful sisters. And when I say beautiful, I don't mean the ones showing their ass on TV, even though Dr. Delicious is coming. Like, that's going to be the next segment of the show. But that's going to be the last segment. But it didn't happen because we skipped like 4 segments this show.
Don't say it one more time. It'll be like Candyman.
Don't say nothing else. Anyway, I just want to say that I have to give ashes to the divine feminine.
Yes.
Because
Ashe.
I love that feminine.
Ashe.
You know what I'm saying? I also love the divine masculine.
Ashe.
But what's more important is the reality that I don't need to be in front. And neither should you. If I'm talking to a divine feminine, if I'm talking to a divine masculine, I would say the same thing. There's no need to be in front. Because if you don't know where you're going, what does it matter who's in the lead? If you don't know who does it matter where you're going? Because you're building together. You're creating
art
and interwoven spirits and ancestors and all of these different components you're creating together.
So if neither of you know where the fuck you're going, doesn't matter who's in front. Women, maybe stop thinking that you need to survive when you are the most precious thing on the planet, because every nigga loves an orgasm more than he loves his mama.
Yep. Get out that root chakra.
Wait
Let's
a second.
get to that.
Get out that root
Let's
chakra.
get to that.
Wait a second.
Let's get to that.
Hold on. Wait a second. I gotta think about
not
that.
my mama. Not my mama.
Hold on. Wait a second. My mama.
I'm sorry, my mama upstairs. I love my mama. I'm just saying. Y'all niggas love orgasms more than y'all love your
I ain't
mama.
about to just cap to that. Like, I'll put an orgasm to the side. Mama called me right now. I'm like,
let's go.
What are you talking about? What are you saying right now?
Not you. I'm not talking about you.
I don't know
sorry,
about that,
mama.
man.
I'm sorry, Mama Mystic. That don't count for you. Don't count for Sacred Mystic Mama. That don't count for Sacred Prime Mama. That don't count for Elijah Prime Mama. I don't care. Look, it don't count for our mamas. It don't count for y'all mamas. But I'm looking at y'all niggas on TV. And it looked like y'all niggas.
It was the proverbial your mama.
I got you.
Yeah,
I got
it was the proverbial your mama.
The general you.
Okay.
The general.
Yeah, the generalized one. Other than that, it's not a competition. At the end of the day, it's not a competition.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We can only get to complete potentiality for expansion together. You can't get there by yourself. I don't give a fuck how independent you are, mama. I don't care. I love you. I love you, mama. I was raised by a single mama, no nigga in the house. I need to say this. I need to say this. I've already said it to her. I said it to her. Did 5 years in jail, 2 years federal. I said it to her. She was not complicit in why I did what I did. I did what I did because I chose to do what I did. And I need every independent mother to know this. Your independency is not and should not be in dereliction to you being able to obtain a complete partner. You can gain a partner regardless of your independency. And that partner should not have to feel the brunt of all the shit you went through to gain your independency just because you gained your independency. That's all we saying. That's all we saying. He does not have to go through that. Just because you
telling
gained
y'all,
that,
you be telling you was told to buy used cars when you had $100,000.
Yep.
My real life father drives a white Benz. So we don't do that over here. And I say that to be like, it's your decision. All right. Just me as a man. I had a point. I forgot that point. I don't even care about it no more. But it's really about here. Like we really are here setting standards for ourselves. And it's
That's
not
called evolution, nigga.
It ain't men setting standards for ourselves, but it's this generation setting standards for themselves. The folk who really putting in work, because people on both sides are really putting in work. It's like games is just we done with that. It's really time to elevate. People is really, we really did this. Like we tired of the games. Like quit playing. Everybody who watching this, do what you got to do. Chakra Nova, like come on and quit playing, because like niggas about to stop responding to y'all messages. So like get y'all shit together, because niggas is tired of y'all. It's just what it is.
Hollywood.
I love you.
I'm not
it's
going
love.
Hollywood.
It's because of love.
Listen, I'm not going Hollywood, but if Hollywood call, you know what?
If I magnetize.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm not going there. I'm not asking them, but if they call, Yeah.
I'll take their money. Shoot.
Take a second though and really think about it. Take a second and really think about what
my nigga told me to envision $1 million on Tuesday. I remember the day when he texted me it. He told me, this is crazy. I have to envision $1 million and being a millionaire. This is scary. And he texted to me. And when he texted to me, my heart dropped. And I felt like am I looking at a text of a girl cheating on me, or is this nigga telling me to think about $1 million? Like it's the same thing. It's scary as fuck, nigga. It's scary as fuck. I'm talking about the impact scale. So come on, your vision
connecting with his feminine energy.
A
man connecting with his true feminine energy is like bro, this shit is not a game. Like none of us are like all of us. I just hope everybody who's watching this is like not like looking at us like we are like something like that you are like that is above anything. Like the reason why we all do this is because honestly we need support from other folks to be able to get on our level. Nobody can elevate by themselves. Everybody needs a team, and we need folks to really get their stuff together. And that's the whole point of why like platforms like this exist is for folks to really get their stuff together, and not just for people just to be watching grown men talk about stuff, and wasting our time because people are really got stuff going on and life is real out here. So everybody just grow up and like let's really do this thing.
That's the overall goal, because at the end of the day,
I'm sorry. Good night. I love y'all.
We love you too, man.
When you think about it in a sense of sexual energy, and you see how precious it is and how valuable it is, the reason why marriage exists is to protect that and to recognize it. But ultimately, the hypersexuality in relation to what you're gonna have to deal with the world. The reason why the world is set up the way it is because it forces you to be spiritual. If you're not a man that understands masculine energy, you won't get nothing. You won't get it, right?
Yeah.
If you are a divine feminine energy and hold the feminine realm of understanding, and you say, fuck that, I'm gonna go work and get this money and be independent and work hard and get what I need to get in life. What about that other side of energy that says, sis, that you don't got to do nothing? Your energy and essence and vibration and smell and everything about you is worth something. Is the commodity
so much more
than so much more anything? Right? A nigga will choose you over his mama.
Died over how a girl smelled. Niggas died over how a girl
the proverbial mama.
Like that's my word. Oh, hold up, nigga. Like you got my girl perfume on you, nigga. Like niggas die over shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Man. Like, come on. That shit speak to my heart. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
These so-called pretty girls.
Sorry.
They be out here lonely. That's
the thing. It's not even, that's the thing. That's the thing. It's not even a matter of understanding like what you look like. We need to deal with the non-physical energy. So we have a book that's coming out that we worked on, that we curated, that we built up, that we discussed, that we had people go back and forth.
That you did, nigga. That you did, nigga. You took that shit like Thor, nigga. That's you, nigga.
Hood coming with the hammer.
It's something that I did for other people, though. I did it to empower other people so they could tune in and tap into their personal God. Now, you tell me something that's more important than your own personal God. Now, you tell me a book that's going to give you simple English understandings in relation to your body and your chakras and how to activate them with simple steps and a journal. And I'm doing all of this not for myself, but for you, because it's really important for men to understand their masculine energy, women to understand their feminine energy. Because if I got to live in the world and my children got to live in the world, I can't say that I ain't do nothing in the space of teaching people the shit that they need to know. Y'all niggas don't know Indian. Y'all don't know Hindu. Y'all don't know none of this shit. And how would you?
Y'all niggas don't know Sanskrit. Y'all niggas don't know Sanskrit. We know y'all don't know Sanskrit.
No. So in the space of decoding that and translating it, I made it simple. And so that's available. Now, the thing about Chakra Nova is completely abstract. We sat here and talked for 2.5 hours on one simple aspect. Now, you want to attract baddies or you want to sit around being a saddie? And it's a real thin
Mm.
line
Mhm.
between attracting baddies and being a saddie. And that's Chakra Nova.
Mhm.
And that's not something that I said. I'm gonna rewind this video. Every single Chakra Nova from this point on, I'm gonna take that clip out and start the videos off. Because y'all need to understand that I didn't say that shit, nor did I tell that man to say that. I asked that man a real question in relation to how he's attracting divine feminine energy.
Mm.
That man told me
Mhm.
Chakra
And
Nova.
that's why he here.
Yep.
And that's
And I
why
didn't
he
even know
here.
that.
That's why he here. Y'all think it's a joke why he here. He is not a placement. Okay. We did not do the diversity thing. Feel like we had to hire a young nigga. Okay. This nigga is the real deal. Like, no, I need them to know this. Like, this is not a diversity hire. Okay.
Mhm.
Right? This is not a socially accepted hire. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't need the congressperson to approve of this one. Like, this is evidence of what we have done has created what that is right there. And that is fucking marvelous. Like, I don't even want to try and sculpt it. I wanted to sculpt
No,
itself.
you
I wanted
tuned in and
to
tapped
itself.
into your non-physical energy, and you living with the manifestations and dealing with your non-physical energy. Nobody telling you this. They telling you that you don't deserve shit from the door. They already thinking that you a self-defeatist. I'm telling you, stop being a self-defeatist. I'm telling you that developing and cultivating your chakras
Just
is
a little
important.
bit. Just a little bit. Like,
Yep.
just a little bit of tension.
Do it. Take
Like,
the step.
you could do 15 minutes a day.
Yep.
Right?
Worth
You
it.
probably
Worth it.
scroll on your phone 5 hours a day. Think
Right.
about that. You probably scroll on your phone 5 hours a day.
Mm.
Now tell me, if you scroll on your phone more than 2 hours a day, you can't create no space for yourself so you can relax and become centered and get back to zero and understand your God and your divinity and your feminine divinity. And you can't do none of that, but you got 2 hours worth of scroll time every day. Explain yourself, please.
I think I smell crickets.
I'm confident. I'm confident in talking about this shit all the time, every week, and
all
bringing
the
up
time.
topics
All the
and,
time.
and holding the space until motherfuckers get it. And with that being said, I'm gonna end this broadcast because we've been talking. I got
Yeah, I'm
major
sorry.
shit to do.
I
I'm
apologize
acting
to
like I
Mama
don't got shit
Mystic.
to do.
I apologize to Mama Mystic. I
You
apologize
good.
to the family. I'm
Peace to the
sorry.
family.
I was on one today. I apologize.